Can we give Janet Yellen some love here? Janet's been waiting. Let's give Janet Yellen some love. Janet Yellen warns of a possible October default on U.S. debt swollen by the pandemic. This is a New York Times story. The United States could default on its debt sometime in October if Congress does not take action to raise or suspend the debt limit. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned on Wednesday the extraordinary measures that the Treasury Department has been employing to finance the government on a temporary basis since August 1st will be exhausted next month. Yellen said in a letter to lawmakers, once all available measures and cash on hand are fully exhausted, the United States of America would be unable to meet its obligations for the first time in our history. I like that. Yellen said that a default would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy and to global financial markets, and that even coming close to defaulting could be harmful. Maybe that's not a bad idea for us to actually see how fake of an economy we have. Maybe let's find out for about 30 days how fake our economy is. Maybe let's find out what's really going on. Listen, and this is coming from a guy, I just bought a big house. Can you imagine my property value drops 25%? If that's the number, fine, do it. Let's find out how fake the current economy is.
Burn it down. Let's not do that.
No, but wait a minute. Why not? Yeah. How long can we manage fake? Do you realize we're funding this fake? We're funding all this fakeness. We're funding all of this fakeness. Interest rates staying low for as long as they have. First time in the history of America, it's funding fake economy.
In the words of Richard Nixon, we're all Keynesians now.
There is nothing good about what they're doing right now. It's just temporary catastrophe because they're worried about whether they're going to get reelected or not. Yeah. And by the way, that's not a left or right thing. That's both of them. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them wants the economy to get back to being real because that president will be a one-term president. But American voters have to be thinking about what's more important, a fake economy that eventually the whole thing explodes, or let's kind of settle down a little bit.
Let me ask you, Pat. Yeah. Every year there's this, like, raise the debt ceiling, we're going to default. Yeah. Like every
year it happens.
Every year it happens. Yeah. What's different this time around? Is there something different? Obviously, with the printing of money, $5 trillion over the last 2 years. Is it different? Is it the same? Oh my God, the sky's falling, and then at the last second, the superhero comes in and saves it. What's different this time?
What's different is they want to pass a $3.5 million budget by September 27th. You want to ask that? Let me go to page 8, Joe Manchin. Mm-hmm. You brought this up. Let's just read what Joe has to say about this. So let's see. Joe Manchin says there's no way to pass a $3.5 billion budget bill. Trillion dollar budget bill by September 27th. A CNBC story. Notice what she said. She said what? By the end of the month is what she said, right? By the end of the month, we have to figure out a way to address this by the end of the month, right? Exhaust it next month. So now Joe says, no way we're going to pass this $3.5 trillion, adding that there's no way to meet the September 27 deadline set by Democrats. Manchin's comments come as lawmakers work to approve the measures which would invest in climate policy and expand social programs, including child care and health care, without the support of Republicans who have opposed the proposed tax increases to fund it. We've already put out $5.4 trillion, and we've tried to help Americans in every possible way we can. And a lot of help that we've put out there is still there, and it's still going to run clear until next year, 2022. So what's the urgency? What's the urgency that we have? It's not the same urgency that we had with the American Rescue Plan, he said. This is Manchin saying this. So you asked the question, Manchin just answered it for you. They're trying to push to get that $3.5 trillion.
Look at what they've done. Look at what they've done. They shut your business down. They bankrupted you for 18 months. Now they're going to raise your taxes higher than they've ever raised them until everybody in America is paying 50% of their freaking money to things that they don't want, and they're devaluing the dollars that you already have. So not only did they shut you down and give all your money to their donors, but now they're going to raise your taxes so what little hope you have left disappears, and your money, save that money, is going to be halved. What is the value of the dollar in 10 years? This is insane. What we're doing is pure insanity. This is like, this is a theft, the likes of which, this is a wealth transfer, the likes of which we've never seen in our lifetime. Like, I can't even believe people are going along with this. Like, think of those three things. These are incontrovertible facts. Again, this is not left, this is not right, this is reality.
Both sides are doing it.
They shut you down.
It's not a left or right.
They devalued your dollar, and now they're stealing your future earnings.
But it's guys, there's nothing worse than fake success, because the fall is unbelievably painful. You know what's fake success? Like, you know how the boxer, you know the scene where Rocky's like, you know, when Mickey says, you know, dude, this guy's going to hurt you. when he's facing against who? The Clever Lang, right? Like, this guy's going to do this. You're not at this guy's. So what are you talking about? I can beat him. He says, no, you can't. You're not ready for it. Because sometimes behind, like boxers, what do? They only put people in front of their boxer because they're trying to build the guy's confidence. But the trainer kind of knows this guy cannot fight with the number 1, number 2, or number 3. You ain't that good. I'm just trying to protect you, right? To kind of get a test for it. We've been faking it as if America's economy is bulletproof. It's not. It's not. They have to kind of bring you back and realize, like, do you realize how many things that are common sense we're starting to question whether we're right or wrong? Let me say that one more time. How many things that are common sense? What's common sense? Dude, don't go into debt more than you can afford. But we're like, no, but we should, because that's what we're supposed to do. Let's keep printing money, and it's going to decrease the value of U.S. dollar. Not necessarily because people say it's not going to. Tell me a time in history that anything you overprinted, the value of that went up. Tell me.
Show your work one time.
But the point is, we, as the populace, are questioning ourselves. Like the whole gaslighting deal, we're getting destroyed with gaslighting right now. You're starting to question like normal things. Am I really that dumb? Am I like, maybe I'm not as smart as these guys at this level. Maybe Yellen is at a whole different level than I am. Maybe I don't have the intelligence of what these guys are. Maybe I should just shut up and say, well, these guys know what they're doing and I don't. You're right. Let's keep printing money. You're right. Let's keep doing this. You're right. Let's keep doing that. No, I think common sense, people need to go back to common sense. This is not technical math. This is common sense math. It's not extremely technical. If you keep printing anything, the value goes down. Period. It just does. And they keep doing it. Anyways.
So what do you think they should actually do? 0? Should they? Is there a number that they should come up with? Is it 1 trillion?
What did you ever quit that you were cold turkey? What did you ever quit that you were cold turkey on? Did you ever quit anything cold turkey? Like you're like, I was smoking weed, and then all of a sudden, next I'm like, I'm done.
Chewing tobacco.
I was drinking alcohol. The next I said, I'm done drinking alcohol.
No, luckily I've never had those problems. But I know you stopped drinking hard liquor.
Yeah, but chewing tobacco, I went cold turkey. Yeah.
You did go cold turkey. How did you do alcohol?
What do you mean?
Like, did you go cold turkey with alcohol?
Hard alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I used to drink a lot. Now I'm down to like, a couple beers on a Friday. That's pretty much it.
Okay, but that's not cold turkey though.
No. I'm talking, the only thing I ever did cold turkey was chewing tobacco.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to make to you is you don't have to go cold turkey with this. You don't have to go from 1% to 6%. No, you put a plan and you manage expectation. Every quarter, the interest rates are going up 0.25% the next 4 years.
I just want people to realize.
So guess what you do? If you say every quarter the rates are going up 0.25%, the populace is sitting there saying what? Fine, it's good. Because it's getting me to be prepared that in the next 4 years, I can't be going around thinking I'm big shotting anything. No, this is kind of what it's looking like. Every quarter we're going through this. Every quarter we're going through this. Rather than this, we still can't. No, we still can't. We still can't. Manage expectations.
So should we change the election cycles then? Instead of 2 4-year terms, should a president be a 1 8-year term? Should we get rid of re-elections? The only way to do that is with foresight. I mean, so much of what we're doing now is dependent on election cycles, and I think that's kind of why
I'm not a fan of the elections.
Or term limits. I think is a little bit more realistic than election.
Voting
cycles.
is supposed to be term limits. I mean, we are supposed to be the term limits. So sometimes, look, you could put
but the Federal
anybody
Reserve,
where Pelosi is, they're going to win.
But the Federal Reserve is its own standalone. So to me, Federal Reserve,
it's not even a government agency.
I know it's not. The Federal Reserve needs to be standalone and make its own. Here's what we're doing over the next 8 years. So the voter, like, let's just say, if the president's running and the president says the following, says, listen, guys, I don't control Federal Reserve. That's not my job. So whatever happened with the interest rates, I know it kind of affected the market. I can't change that because it's out of my jurisdiction.
Sure.
The Federal Reserve has one job in place, is to make sure we become as close to as debt-free as possible, and it maintains the economy in a proper way that keeps growing, right? Healthy economy.
And employment as well.
Yeah, employment as well. So I think if they set that part aside to say this is its own person that gets voted by the people, somebody that we even elect for federal, because it's a big decision maker, maybe even more powerful than the president sometimes, right? So if we did that and a person said, yeah, President Biden, President Trump, you don't have any jurisdiction over me on what we do here. You can give feedback, but this is what we're doing. The interest rates is going to go up 0.25%, every quarter over the next 8 years. And we're going to try to hover around 3%. Whatever, pick a number. I'm just making up a number there for you. But staying the way we are right now, one more month, one more quarter.
Yeah.
One more quarter. This is not an effective
Staying
way
at zero, we can't maintain.
No way. No way.
But I do want to.
Why is that important, by the way? Why is it so important to get up to a normal level?
How do you pay off debt in your personal life? Do you all of a sudden?
What do you mean? You just raise your debt ceiling?
You can't do that, though. You can't do that. Do you understand what he just said? Like, it's a joke, but you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, can we raise my credit card limit? I'm in debt $40,000. Like, if you call, actually think about it. You got a credit card with $10,000. You're at $10,000. You call MBNA. You call Amex. You call this government. Say, hey, I know I'm in debt $10,000. My credit card limit is $10,000. Do you guys mind to help me my credit score increase my limit to $20,000 because it's hurting my credit score? Yeah. You tell me what Discover, Amex, or Visa or MasterCard is going to tell you. They're going to say, I'm sorry, what? Somebody should actually do this and say, but presidents do that. Why can't I do that?
Okay, that's raising the maximum capacity of the debt. You're talking about raising the interest rates from 0 to 0.25 to 100 basis points or whatever it is. But why is it important? Why is it important to raise them?
If your basement is flooded, if your basement is flooded, it doesn't matter how many additions you put onto the house, the basement's still flooded. That's what he's saying. No matter how many times you address the debt, right? You're not addressing the deficit. You have to get rid of the water that's flooding your basement. Putting an addition on the house doesn't get rid of that.
I'm 1,000% with you on why you don't want debt in your life. I'm with you. But why is raising the interest rate important? Meaning, why do you want to get to 3%?
Yeah.
As an example.
Look, I
understand that concept about not having debt. I get it. I'm talking about the interest rates.
When the interest rates are low, anything that you finance, the value of it is higher because it's free money.
Right.
Like right now, everybody who's a businessman, who's running a company, if they can get a line from the government for $1 billion debt, go get it. Everyone's doing it.
Leverage through
the if you can get $100 million.
Same thing at 1%.
It's nothing.
Right.
You're paying nothing.
Same thing at 2%.
Money is so cheap today.
I get it.
So this is why
you
you
can
see.
Qualify.
You know how you see certain people.
Only the rich can qualify.
Right.
People that are buying 1 house, 2 house, 3 house, 4 house, 5 house, 6 house, 7, 8, 9. Dude, this guy got 6 Ferraris in the garage. Got 9 Lamb. I remember a guy back in 2005. He had 4 different Rolls Royce, same exact Phantom, parked outside of his house. Everybody would go to this guy and like, this guy's freaking rich as hell. But no income, no asset, anything you can finance for nothing. The moment 08 came around, the market tanked 38%. Not only did he lose all his Rolls Royce, he lost the 2 houses. He owed the government $5 million and he didn't know how to pay for it. But that needed to be filtered out.
Of course.
So the interest rates makes everything eventually be worth what it's worth. A guy buys a house right down here. I looked at this house. We went and looked at it. We left the house. It looked like a 50 Shades of Grey house. The guy ends up buying it for $17 million. The next month after he buys it for $17 million, he puts it on the market for $31 million. He just raised the price to $32 million. Someone's about to buy that thing for $30 million.
Insane.
In 4 months, he bought it from $17 million. He's going to sell it for $30 million. That doesn't make any sense.
Good purchase right there.
He didn't do nothing to the house. Right. The house, like nothing to the house.
Here's ultimately my question, and I want to get your advice on this. You remember back in the 80s, interest rates on mortgages were like 12%.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Interest rates on mortgages were like 12%.
It's the great Jimmy Carter era.
Everything was going insane. Well, even when Reagan was there, it was all throughout the 80s.
He lowered it.
It started to lower, it started to taper off, but even up to the 90s, it was at double digits almost. The point is this.
Comes from the Community Reinvestment Act.
I said up until the 90s, all throughout the 80s. But the point is this, what's the sweet spot? You're saying use 3% as an example. Obviously, 0 is no good, and obviously you don't want to be spending 10% on a mortgage payment, on your interest on your... Is there a number that you have in mind is what I'm asking. You said...
It changes 3% from time to time, though, man. Like, I mean, it's like asking how much brake do you need? It's like, well, if you're going 25 miles an hour, you need this much brake. If you're going 95 miles an hour, you need a little more brake, you know? I mean, it's subject to the times.
Double digit wasn't in the 90s. It was 84.
I said through the 80s up till 90.
But the Carter's last year was 16.39.
Crazy.
And we got elected, it was 5.54. So he took it from 5.54.
The prime rate?
He took the average yield from 5.54 to 16%. CDs were paying 14, 15, 16% at the time.
By the way, everything
CDs were paying 16%?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane. But the conversation they're having right now, this is the type of stuff that they don't teach you in school. This is what I talk about all the time.
But
you talked about getting books, books on negotiations, getting books on sales, getting books on how money works. Interest rates is a major part of it.
I think I think what you're teaching is necessary. I think that concept is necessary.
Yeah, but even this is stuff that this is macroeconomics,
but
the U.S. GDP.
But it's not though. Just go to that visual. Just think about, like I said, what's tall? You said, I don't think 6 is tall, 6 tall. I said, why do you think that? Because everything's always, I'm not good enough. We always have that mentality. I'm not rich enough. I'm not successful enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not strong enough. It's always the guy that's a little bit more stronger that's strong, right? We're always kind of think that way. And then internally we're confident, but I don't know, maybe about this. It's not. If you called your credit card company and you said, I got $10,000 credit card with $10,000, I max it out. Can you give me another limit for 10 grand? What's the credit card company going to say to you? Actually tell me what you think they're going to say to you. They're going to say, what the hell is wrong with you?
Well, the credit card companies will probably say, sure, buddy, keep charging it.
They will not do that. No, to give you additional 10? You give an additional 10 to somebody that doesn't know how to handle their money? No. You don't do that. You know when
Francis might have given you another 10.
You know,
some points.
You know when I got I got a ton of credit? Is when I don't need any credit.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We're going to raise your limit to 100,000. Cool. But you know what? If you're going to raise it to 200,000, for what though? But it's cool. I'll take it.
But you have to spend $10,000 a month.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make to you is this stuff is not as complicated. What the politicians are famous for doing is to convince the populace that they're smarter than them and let them make the decision for them. No. These are regular people just like you. Okay, these are regular people. They just decided to go get their job to be a politician, and they're on TV. And just because you're on TV, people think you're smart because you're on TV.
I do agree with you that we need to stop glorifying politicians, left and right.
If I could for a second, all right, because we kind of brushed over this, but I think this is very important for people to hear. They are basically with this Infrastructure Act trying to make an effective 50% tax rate for all Americans. Essentially is what they're going for, okay? So just understand, people listening at home, okay, especially my blue collar people, you're sitting in traffic an hour to get to work. You don't get paid for that, all right? Then you're going to go to work. Half of you work a job you don't want to work in, but you need to because you have responsibilities and you're a dutiful person. So 8 hours of your day, you do that. Then you sit in traffic another hour home. 10 hours of your day. Then you see your family for 3 hours, you go to sleep. Okay, so 10 hours away from your family, doing a job you probably don't want to do, sitting in traffic you don't want to sit in. Under this, you've got to understand what taxes are. That means you will not earn $1. You will not actually earn any money for you or your family, not January, not February, not March, not April, not May, not June. Until July 1st, you are a wage slave to the government that just left $85 billion worth of stuff behind for the Taliban. That's how much they care about the hours of your life. That's how much they care about your money, your tax dollars that they're going to raise, that they just left $85 billion for the Taliban to use as Christmas toys, okay? And now they want more of your life. Stop looking at it as money, folks. I beg you. Stop looking at it as money. This is hours of your life that they are stealing from you.
Yeah, I mean, that brings it back to a very good visual for people to be thinking about. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.